Yo, what is good, everybody? It is your boy, Golden Falls, Golden What Ifs, whatever you want to call me, and I am back. This is the finale of What If Deku Was Like Akaza, and if you enjoy, show some love, leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. And, yeah, honestly, I don't really got that much else to say. We're going to get into the What If, or at least the finale of the What If ASAP, so let's get into it. Let's get it. Izuku Midoriya stands in front of the people he knew as his friends, his teammates, mentors, and many, many others. But how did he even end up like this? How did Izuku get to this point? Well, like I said before, and like what happened in the past, he was unfortunately subdued, and experiments were all taken upon him, and he would soon realize that the cloudiness and the mind control that would overwhelm his body would be too much for him to bear. He's just a vessel in the body that he once held, and all he could do is stare at the other people that are currently looking at him. Many of them are ready to fight, but many of them are also hesitant on the idea of truly fighting Izuku Midoriya. Izuku has gained immense strength, being injected with various amounts of what seems to be different quirks, and on top of that has been augmented heavily to the point where he basically has no feelings. He cannot feel anything anymore, and on top of that, it seems as if everything about Izuku no longer exists, but it seems as if this Final Gambit will now set up the destruction of not only Japan, but the entire world. But the heroes that are there standing to confront him, many, many heroes, they're not going to allow this to just happen, especially not without a fight. Izuku stands there as everybody charges at him, and he begins to fend them all off, and he begins to extremely hurt hero after hero. Even some of the strongest heroes that are known for their capabilities, some of the highest ranking heroes like Endeavor, like Hawks, even like Mirako, well, let's just say they don't even stand a chance. Izuku would begin to beat them down and beat them down extremely bad, and they would try everything they possibly can, even special weapons and items that they came up with to maybe expose some of the weaknesses that Izuku has, but it seems like nothing is working. It seems like every single time they try to do something, it seems like every single time they try to actually properly take out Izuku and try to get the upper hand, it never works. It seems as if Izuku's already one step ahead, and if not, he's multiple steps ahead every single time this fight continues on. But that doesn't mean that the heroes are just going to give up. They continue to fight. They continue trying to subdue Izuku, honestly getting to the point where they're trying to find a kill shot to take out Izuku Midoriya. But it seems like every kill shot is not there, and there is a response from Izuku that is 10 times more powerful than you could possibly imagine. He would easily defeat the likes of someone like Hawks and Endeavor, knocking them clean out, if not injuring them almost to the point where there's a good chance they will pass on to the next life. Izuku continuing his fight with Mirako, and Mirako would try to speak to him, try to get through to him, saying that what happened to that sweet guy, that sweet kid that they all once knew. The one that may have had this hunger for fighting, but, well, wouldn't hurt a fly if they were innocent. That one person that wouldn't even hurt a single being, like he was so respectable, so respectful, and on top of that, he would never hurt a woman. Not even a single one. And he was even hesitant about fighting Mirako, even though Mirako is one of the stronger hand-to-hand combat martial artists there is in Japan. Where is that person? Izuku would speak and say that person is no more. That person does not exist. But of course, that voice that is being said is not the one of Izuku Midoriya. That's until a lot of the people there get an idea, one that Bakugo even comes up with to a certain extent, and he tells them their plan and how they could actually bring down and take down Izuku, but it's one that's going to be risky. Mirko tells him that he doesn't, or that she doesn't care about risky, that get it done ASAP, and they'll figure out the consequences later, in which Mirko says that she will give the opening for Bakugo, whatever the plan is, and Bakugo would nod, as Mirko would go head to head with Izuku, trying to give it absolutely all she has. And the wounded heroes that Izuku has already put down basically would jump into the battle to try and subdue Izuku as well. And eventually Bakugo would create a giant explosion, creating a huge dust cloud separating Izuku and many of the others. Izuku would look around as his senses would be mildly overwhelmed, at least for the moment. Izuku would dash through the smoke, clearing it out completely, seeing that nobody's there. He would look around, and eventually he would see a shadow, a small shadow, and that shadow, well, is a person. And he would dash toward it, grabbing the neck of this said person until he looks to see who it is. And it's, well, Momo Yaoyorozu. What the hell was this plan? He looks around to the left and to the right as shadows begin to appear, as he basically lets go of Momo and dashes toward the next one. And it's another Class 1A female. And he does it again and again and again, as his mind seemingly slipping away from him now. And he would then hit one more person, grabbing the neck of another, well, female character, or a woman in Class 1A, or a female in Class 1A. And eventually the smoke would dissipate completely. And as he turns to his right, there stands his own mother. He looks at his own mother, seeing all of the flashbacks, seeing all of the fighting, all of the martial arts that he personally went through, everything that he channeled through himself, everything that he did for himself, but also the protection of his own mother, Inko Midoriya. He would look even to his right once again, his mother, and then also someone who he saved at the very beginning of his hero journey, Ochako Uraraka. Seeing her would bring back memories that he doesn't even know, memories that aren't even his own. He would see memories of a dojo with an old master and his young daughter, but it seems as if the daughter meant something to Izuku. No, meant something to whoever this Akaza character is, because when Izuku would look in the mirror, he would see someone else. He wouldn't see himself. He wouldn't see the face of Izuku Midoriya, but he would see the face of someone totally different. He would look around and he would hear the voices of the girl and the father figure that he had in this different life, and he would hear them talking to him. But it was as if it was all clouded, all changed, and all kind of distorted. He would then slowly but surely hear them clearer and clearer, but eventually they would slowly disappear. And a large crowd would stumble through, and Izuku could see this memory. A stumbling crowd would rush through and destroy the entirety of the building. A large group of people, seemingly like a large militia of some sorts, a large crew of people that took it upon themselves to actually barge in and hurt everyone that surrounded him. He could feel the weight, the pressure, everything about this. He looks around once again and he sees the Japan streets that are completely desolate and completely broken. He would see all of the women, but now sees all of the people in general. From women like Momo Yaoyorozu to Midnight to even the males like Bakugo and Aizawa and many others. He would see them all, but it seems like there's still something in the back of his head that is telling him to kill, to stop them, to defeat them, to end them, and to destroy this entire place now. In which immediately Izuku would dash toward Aizawa as if he's about to hurt him gravely, but then he would stop. He would stop right in his tracks and stare at Aizawa, right directly in his face. And as he does, he would tell Aizawa that he's sorry. And as he says this, Izuku would go dashing off to another place, but it seems like he isn't fully in control just yet. They would all tell them that they need to track him down now, that they're breaking through to him. They can't allow them or allow him to settle back into the mind control. But they ask, where is he running? In which someone did put a tracker on him. As they look at the tracker, they would say that it looks like he's headed to the main prison. The one with All For One, Shigaraki, Overhaul, and many others within it. They all think that he's going there to break them all out of prison. That this is the mind-controlled version of Izuku that is going to do something that is going to be extremely, extremely detrimental to Japan and maybe even the entire world. But as he arrives, as he breaks through the prison, releasing villains like All For One, like Shigaraki, and many others, well, all the heroes would arrive, and everybody would stand there in complete shock. I mean, standing there, Akaza, or this version of Izuku, Midoriya, stands there staring toward Aizawa and many of the others that he sees as mentors, friends, and teammates alike, and classmates alike. He stares toward them with a blank expression. All For One on his right, Shigaraki on his left. It seems as if this is going to be the end of everything. With Izuku under their control, with All For One and Shigaraki now out of prison, there is nowhere that will be safe. There will be no one that can truly help them. But that's until Izuku would send both of his hands, his left and his right hand, through the chest of both Shigaraki and All For One, defeating and ending both of them in one foul swoop. And he looks toward the heroes and says that he will be the only one, that he will make sure that this world is safe, not only from himself, but from them as well. He tells them that he has so little grasp of control, but this is the only thing he can do now. He will end the lives of the two that could possibly basically end the entirety of lifespan of Japan, and he stands there as the other heroes try and approach him, but he backs up, and he tells them not to come closer, that they need to get court-canceling cuffs, they need to get him restraints right now and put them on him. Now, as they would all be in complete and utter shock, he would scream at them, telling them now, as he would turn to the prison, launching a punch, and it shatters all of the windows within the prison and shatters half of the prison's like basically block off of the entire building. And it destroys so much, and frankly, it probably ends the lives of many villains within there as well. But eventually, Izuku is wrapped up in Aizawa's scarf. Court-canceling cuffs are placed upon him, and other restraints are placed upon him as well. And Izuku would be taken away and put away to a large extent. But his mind is so clouded. There feels like there's massive gaps in memories that he can't even understand if it's truly him, if it's the past life, if it's the whatever creature that the past life of him became. He doesn't understand it at all. He barely remembers the people that stand in front of him and the people that visit him. He barely remembers his own mother. He barely remembers anything about his own life. But all he knew was that there was an overwhelming sense of justice, of protection, of want to actually help these people. And as he's chained up and he's completely locked down into this area, maybe somewhere even more restricted than even All For One, some people would come visit him, asking if he's okay, if he's feeling all right, if he's getting enough food, if he's getting this or that. But Izuku, he would barely even be talking. He wouldn't say a word. He'd sit there and do very, very little, just a blank expression over his face. And understanding that if he says words, if he tells these people that he doesn't truly know who they are, that it would break their hearts. So he would nod to them every time they would say something. He would nod and nod, kind of in a way telling them that everything is okay. But he would sit there, dormant, sit there with not even a single thought in his mind. Actually, the only thing he could even hear is one shallow and shadowy and distorted voice, a voice of all of that mind control and all of that messing with his mind, telling him to break out, telling him to do things that he would never want to do, telling him to take over Japan, and telling him to end everybody that stands in his way. The voice would be on 24/7 every single day, every single week, every last minute of his entire life. At least that's what it feels like for a long time. Because at the end of it all, after months and months and months would pass on, eventually Izuku would awaken and open his eyes once again. And as he opens his eyes, he sees two people walk in, Shota Aizawa and Eri. As they walk and as they approach, well, let's just say Aizawa says that he may not know who they are, and they could tell that he's definitely not in the right mindscape, that there might be something they could truly do. In which Izuku would sit there, just sitting there with no words, no nothing, no response. And, well, as electricity would fill the entire room, Aizawa would walk out, and Eri's horn would grow as Izuku could feel his body changing rapidly. And eventually the voice, the shadowy, distorted voice, would go away. No longer speaking to him, no longer telling him to go destroy everything. His body changing and his mind rephasing back exactly how it was. And as he looks to the little girl that is standing in his prison cell, basically, he would begin to shed a single tear. As it drops down to his face, he would feel absolutely saddened by everything that he knew he did, everything that happened. Aizawa would approach after everything occurs, and he would ask if the kid remembers him now, in which Izuku would nod and say yes, he does, and he's sorry. In which Aizawa would say that was not him, that was not, but Izuku would cut him off and say that was him. He wasn't strong enough, he wasn't mentally strong enough, he wasn't good enough to stop it from happening. And he almost destroyed everything that was created to stop villainy in one foul swoop because he wasn't ready. Izuku shakes his head and he tells them that he'll be here for a little bit longer. That the reverse of all of that and Eri changing everything to do with his mind and body may be a good thing. And is an amazing thing for him because the voice is gone. But there's still a lot of mental hurdles that he has to get through. And there's a lot of time that he needs to obviously serve out. So he'll be seeing them soon. And he tells Aizawa to make sure to keep everyone safe. Because once this is all over, he'll be becoming a hero. One that is better than any hero Aizawa could have ever imagined Izuku Midoriya could have ever been. Aizawa would smirk as he would point at the kid a little bit, and he would grab Eri and carry her off, and Eri would wave her goodbyes and wish him good luck. Izuku still in that tight space, that space where he's stuck exactly like All for One, kind of contained, but soon he would go through a rehabilitation process and go through all of the steps to hopefully become a productive member of society once again, but also become the hero he knows he could be. But Izuku's road back to being a hero and a productive member of society may just be beginning, but this is the end of the story of What If Deku Was Like Akaza. And if you enjoyed, show some love. Leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. And honestly, I don't know what else I got to say. I hope you guys enjoyed, like I said. And let me know what you guys want to see next. Ideally, a non-Deku what if. I mean, I don't mind doing another one, but I do want to add a little bit of variety in there, just a little bit. So please let me know what you guys would like to see next. Maybe it's even a remaster of an old what if that I did. Do it a different way type of thing, or whatever you can possibly think of. With that said, though, hope y'all enjoyed, like I said, and I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.